more aware of a lot of things that I'm believing that are lies, but also more of my protective behaviors and how what I think is coming out in sin. I think like a big one is I already knew that I compare myself with others out of lies that I believe, but then that leads to more sin of judging and being jealous. And because of that, then I kind of avoid them and I don't feel like I can be friends with them. And that's very not loving. It's almost more hateful than loving. And so I think it's helped me to see all these different behaviors that I do that I in a way knew was wrong, but didn't really process it out. But I think it's also given me a confidence to like speak out with authority against the enemy, like knowing I have strongholds, knowing I have footholds that are more vulnerable to attack, and not being so discouraged every time I fall into it, but trying to declare with faith that there will be victory. And yeah, I think that's
I think like over the last like 12-ish weeks, I feel like God has revealed a lot about like how gentle he is. Because I think over the last like couple years, I think it almost ended up becoming like my view of God was more like legalistic, where he was disappointed in me, or he was expecting me to do a certain way, but I didn't perform to the right level or something. And I think there was always this like self-criticism, and I think a lot of that comes straight from the enemy too, like to put me in a mind space, in a head space where I'm so not confident in my relationship with God. But I think through the past 12 weeks, I think the like there's a lot of things that stood out, but I think the weeks that really stood out were the weeks where God was just telling me like that I don't have to do all of that. And that like he's just happy that like I'm here every Thursday night and just like spending time trying to learn more about him. So like I don't know, I think maybe like I complicated God too much and made him like a super I don't know, hard person to please. But I like realized more and more that he's just so happy that like I'm here and that I'm like trying to have this relationship with him. And like like I think even like leading cell and doing things like that, like there was a point where like we wrote a letter, because like we did that in our B4A study where we wrote a letter to ourselves. So like I think it was like the week after, like 2 weeks after, and like I had it was just like the girls in our cell, and I had them like write a letter from God to yourself, like what you think God would tell you. And like let me try finding it, but like I think the thing that still sticks out was like I said, I know you and I still love you. I have never left you, and that you don't have to earn my love or approval. I will always love you. I will always care for you. And I think the line that stood out the most was like, thank you for loving me the best you could. Thank you for being my daughter. And I think like, yeah, just like I'm enough for God, and like really seeing that value. I think, yeah, it's like I know that, but I think I experienced it more. So yeah.
Amen.